think we can get started since you're going to be recording and distribute it to folks if they need, they miss the webinar.
Sounds good.
Okay. All right. Welcome, everyone. Thanks for joining us for the webinar on technology commercialization funding opportunity. And Todd Prey from the Strategic Partnerships Office is here with me. And, we are both available to answer any questions you may have at the end of the presentation. I just have a few slides I want to share with you. If you have applied for TCF last year, you're not much, have changed. Just a few things in terms of submission that's been changed. Other than that, all the qualification and the proposal scopes are still the same. Todd, before I start, do you have anything you want to say?
Yeah, nothing really lengthy, Shanshan. Just appreciate the opportunity to meet with all of you. The TCF is a really great way to start or grow, partnerships you might have with companies or other partners. And we'll do whatever we can to facilitate it. And I'm happy to, like Shanshan said, answer questions at the end of the presentation and, and after in the coming days and weeks as you prepare proposals.
Yeah, thanks, Todd. Okay, let's get started. Hold on. So this is, I want to give everyone, those who are new, just a little bit background of what the Tech Commercialization Fund program is. In 2013, the previous administration, Obama administration, commissioned a study of DOE's program, Tech Maturation Program, and what they found was that early stage technologies developed at the DOE labs, requires maturation. Almost all of them require maturation before, in the forms of testing, development, and prototyping, before any company is willing to make investment for commercial purposes. So in 2016, the department established TCF as a gap fund to facilitate the commercialization of promising energy technologies out of the labs. Now, it's intended to fulfill the statutory obligation authorized by Congress under the Energy Policy Act of 2005. Now, the program is also designed to increase commercial impact of lab-developed technologies, as well as encouraging, stronger private sector engagement in bringing these energy technologies to the marketplace. FY21 solicitation came out last week, and you can download the solicitation document through IPO website, as well as DOE's website on labpartnering.org. Now, what you should know is the proposal eligibility declaration is due in about a month, less than a month, October 8th, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, the OTT is the program administration of TCF, and so they have also pre-recorded a webinar regarding this program, and you can also check it out if you're interested. Now, how can you be eligible for this program? You must be a Berkeley Lab employee. If you are not a PI, you do not have a PI status, please chat with your supervisor and get their kind of buy-in in your interest in applying for this program. You must have an active IP status. What does that mean? Well, it means that we need to have a record of your invention or software in our, record of database. And if you have not submitted any invention or software to IPO, please go do it as soon as you can. On our website, all the forms are available on our website, and it's easy to find if you just go to ipo.lbl.gov. Now, by the time you get DOE money for TCF projects, then we need to have filed a provisional or non-provisional patent application, or have requested and received permission from DOE to assert copyright for software. There is a very critical requirement. Cost match is required for this program, and it's half of the cost. Total project cost must come from a non-federal source. So it could be multiple sources. Now, if, for example, if you are you anticipate your project would cost $1 million, then $500,000 would need to come from sources of funding that's not funded by federal government. Because the lab is on a hook to make up that half of the project costs, if in the event a partner fails to make the match, we are making sure that any project, before any project starts, a credit needs to be put in place. Now the project, the concept of your project needs to be aligned with at least one of the technology areas listed by each of the program offices in the Appendix A of the solicitation document. If you haven't gone through that, you should definitely go through the description of their interest, program office's interest. It's helpful for you to understand whether your proposed concept is of interest to the program office. Where does the TCF funding come from? Like I mentioned, Congress authorized and appropriated about 0.9% of the department's budget for applied energy programs, and TCF falls under that budget. For this year, the participating program offices include these major program offices, and each of them is making this amount of funding available. The total funding is for the program is 23 to 28 million. That's about the same as last year's funding level. Now, to take advantage of this program, there are two levels of funding available for you to consider. Topic 1 is designed for early stage technologies, and it's designed to, for you to explain what level of technology your proposed project is at, and how how you would make sure that the additional development will help attract private sector working with you. The funding level is $100,000 to $250,000, and for a performance of 6 to 18 months. For topic 2, it's for cooperative development projects where you would already identify a private company that you're going to be working with for a specific commercial application, whether it's scale up or demonstration or deployment of the lab developed technology. Now, this the funding for this level is 250,000 to 1.5 million, and the performance period is between 12 to 36 months. So this is the amount DOE will be awarding you. So if you have a 50% cost match from a non-federal source for this level of proposal, then you could get up to $3 million total. So consider applying if you're already working with a partner or plan to execute a credit in the next 12 to 18 months. If you have already participated in I-Core training programs, whether it's Energy I-Core or the campus I-Core programs or the labs mini I-Core programs, please consider applying, because DOE does like, applicants who have received that type of market discovery training. It makes it so much easier for you to write your proposals as well. Now, there are 4 major components in the proposal that's required. At the full proposal stage, you would need to include commercial impact, technology maturation, project plan, and project team and resources. For commercial impact, it makes up about 35% of the scoring. Topic 1 and topic 2 projects, you need to articulate what's the market impact for your technology, and you need to clearly identify what's the current and anticipated market needs, how you're going to come up with a strategy to bring the technology to market for topic 2 proposals. Now, in the technology maturation section, you need to explain the advances you need to attract or secure a private partner. However, if you already have a private partner you're working with, then you need to clearly state what the next steps are for topic 1 ideas. Now, for topic 2 projects, you need to describe the activities you need to achieve commercialization goals. So then within the section of a project plan, you would need to clearly explain the goals and outcomes and a viable approach of how you're going to achieve these commercialization goals and outcomes in the project plan. Now, the tasks you propose in the project plan need to clearly link to the performance metrics and deliverables. In the team and resources section, you need to articulate the qualifications of the team members and the resources and capabilities they are bringing to accomplish your goals. Cost matching and partner is a very important element of the program, and like I said, 50% needs to be matched from a non-federal source of funding. Contributions can be cash or in kind or both. Now, the partners can be, any non-federal entity that include private companies, of course, and state or local governments, or even universities and nonprofit organizations. All in-kind contributions must meet all of DOE's requirements. I will explain a little bit more in the next slide what they typically look for. Credit, again, is required before any work begins with an external partner. So acceptable, contributions as a cost match must satisfy all of the following criteria. These contributions must be verifiable from the recipient's records. They cannot be included as contributions from any other federal programs or projects. And they have to be a necessary and reasonable line item to accomplish in order for the team to accomplish the overall objectives. Now the cost must be allowable under the cost principles applicable to the type of entity incurring the cost. It cannot be paid by another award funded by federal government. And it has to be provided for in the approved budget. So this is all required at the stage of full proposal. Now, this is just the overall proposal process. As I mentioned, the Office of Technology Transition at DOE is the program administrator. They manage the overall proposal submission process, and the proposal review is done through an independent merit review committee. Once the review committee finish their review, there is an optional response period, about 3 business days to respond to the reviewers' comments. And you could, this process is put in place just for applicants to provide additional arguments to the feedback from the reviewers, but it's not designed to change the scoring. Now, then the proposal will then be forwarded to DOE program offices for final proposal review and approval for funding. After you receive the funding and you begin with the project start, then you need to send project reports to OTT as for their program review. And they made a change this year, so it's only going to be required at the start of the project and at the end of the project. Now, with DOE program offices, the program reports are typically required for, per their funding requirements. Again, the solicitation document is available on IPO's website. And here's the pre-recorded webinar if you need to learn more. These are the folks who have won the TCF awards. Feel free to reach out to them. You can see across, the past awardees covers, all areas of the lab. Please feel free to reach out to them if you are interested in learning what makes it successful to apply for this program. And again, let us know if you're interested in applying. These are just the few key dates and you should remember. And the first date, again, is the proposal eligibility declaration dates. That's October 8th. And you will get a notification from OTT to proceed with a full proposal on November 3rd by 5 p.m. And the deadline for a full proposal is on December 15th before Christmas, before the Christmas shutdown. And then the reviewer comments, again, will come around mid to late March timeframe. And you have 3 business days after you receive those comments to provide your responses. The anticipated selection notification is next spring. The changes for this year, proposal submission process is that for the proposal eligibility declaration, you have to use the PDE template available at the DOE website. And the submission has to be done through email to both the TCF headquarter email and the TCF submission email through INL. And the full proposal submission is the same as last year through this props online system. If you have any questions, so for overall, TCF program rules and proposal processes, you may contact TCF headquarter email directly here. And for the online application systems, send it to INL email. Internally, you can always come to me for any TCF program questions or any eligibility questions and IP related questions, and Todd is available to discuss with you on anything that you may have related to how to work with the private or your cost match partners. I think that's it. Do we have any questions?
Yeah, do you know anybody from computing sciences that has won this? Is that in scope at all?
Not that I can recall. These are not exhaustive list. I did get a question recently from someone at Computing Sciences and saying, well, they didn't see computing, the Office of Computing Science listed as a program office offering the funding. But a lot of the applied programs, for example, advanced manufacturing programs or other programs within the DOE complex that's offering the funding, does have technology areas that involves a lot of machine learning, for example, and the use of computational tools. So I encourage you to, look into the technology areas in the solicitation document and see if any of your project might fall under those areas. Any other questions?
Sunshine, this is Kenton, sorry. So I have two questions. One is, so the CRADA, that's only required for the topic 2. Is it correct?
Yeah, I can answer that question. For these projects, if you have an external partner with cost share, we need a CRADA in place. It's the only way we can really document their budget and hours and obligate them to the cost share. And it also is really the best way to spell out kind of the IP terms. If any further IP is developed during the project, we can clearly specify it there. So CRADAs are required for any kind of external partner projects that we would develop under this.
Okay, great. Yeah, thank you for the clarification. So second question is, so like we received the TCF funding, I believe it's FY17, and at the moment some other companies reach out to us. They want to use that particular software tool, but for some different use cases. So does it qualify, for example, the same software tool but will be enhanced to support different use cases for different companies?
Yes, it does. So as long as the use case is different than previously funded project, yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thanks.
Any other questions? You can type in the chat if you don't want to, you know, talk in the public about your project ideas or questions. We can answer them separately offline.
You know, this isn't a question, but just one thing I'll say for the group is that, you know, the lab was really excited in this last year to have more awards than ever before. We got 4, which isn't as much as some of the other labs that do more applied research, but it's something that Horst was very excited about, and he's very supportive of this program. The cost share issues obviously, you know, always cause some level of consternation, but the applied programs require that for any kind of competitive award anyway. So I encourage you to think carefully about doing this and really give it a shot, because it's something that the lab really values.
Yeah, I think the cost share is kind of blocker for scientists. Like we're asking for help, like, you know, more like the SBIR thing, like, you know, give you the money and try. So so I don't know. That's possible if I like fund myself. So I invest my family fund for 100K and then like match the other 100K, or.
So is this a lab developed IP?
I'm also in computing science. I was thinking like using some previous like software algorithm, like Gordon Bell Prize software machine learning thing, and try to use that as an IP. I was just thinking this idea, and then want to try something new about based on that. But I definitely have no experience of those commercialization and stuff like that. But I just want to get into the program and train myself. But I need a 50% cost match, right? I don't know anyone or other investors or something. You know, I just assuming that I put my money in there, assuming this is from a private sector, and then again another 100K, 200K, and then I can try my idea or something like that. Does it make sense, or is?
It's a really interesting question, and I don't have an answer off the top of my head. If an employee can kind of self-fund the cost share, that might be something. Maybe we can follow up offline, you and me and Shanshan, and maybe submit a question to OTT about that, or ask. And we might have the answer. You know, maybe someone in the office of the CFO at the lab could answer that if that's allowable. Typically, the cost share is with, you know, if what you've developed, the IP you have, is closely aligned with what a company would like to use, or if it's very related to what they're already doing. That way they don't necessarily have to give you the cost share in cash. They're working on their own, so it's in kind. So they're working in parallel with you. You're talking to them, sharing data, and kind of co-developing something based on what you've already invented. So it's the private cost share is an interesting concept, but I think OTT is really looking, especially for like a commercialization partner, you know, an existing company or a startup that really wants to take what you have to the market.
I see. Okay, I understand. I think then that maybe this is like yeah, not very suitable for like early scientists, just from concept to, you know, to make something from a concept, right?
Well, I think that the topic area one could be a fit, as long as you have, you know, if you have a company that's interested in investing a little bit in it while they're working in parallel, it's probably worth exploring. But Shanshan and I can talk to you offline more specifically.
Sure. Yeah, in that regards, more like I try to attract some early VC, even though it's a little bit money, right? 100K. Like if I can convince them, and then this is like, it will be a naturally and smoothly like combination, right? Yeah, I don't know if I can do that.
Hi, it's Sebastian. I look after computer sciences. There are other options as well, which is, you know, you form your own startup company, and then we can license. I mean, I don't know what the technology is, but if it's a lab lab IP, we can license it to you. If it's if we have the rights, we can exclusively license to you. If it's OSS, you can just take a license and go your own way. But there obviously are more considerations if you want to keep working at the lab, or we want to work at the lab half time, whatever metric and how that works. So there are other techniques as well, but it is interesting if you, as Todd says, if you set up your own company and then you kind of worked with yourself. Doesn't sound 100% what they want, but it's an interesting idea.
I see. Gotcha.
Yeah, I mean the project team and you know the resources section of the proposal is also very important. So the I neglected in mentioning the scoring system. So in terms of the rest of the 65% of the scoring goes to the other 3 sections. So the commercial impact, if I go to commercial impact, makes up 35% of the scoring, and then the rest of the 65% goes to technology maturity, project plan, project team, and resources. Within the 65%, technology maturation makes up 40%, project plan for 40%, and project team and resources makes up, I think, 20%.
See.
Yeah. So,
okay. Let me give another example. Yes, that reminds me. So, for example, I'm in the computing science working on HPC AI, and then if I have an idea, and then I found that there's a company also previously in Secretary Road called TerraFuels, also they're a climate company. If I partner with them, even they're really small scale startup, if they can invest 100K, and I can claim that this is a private partnership, and then I can claim for the topic 1, 100K, right? Even though, you know, we're actually in the same family, you know, they're also from Berkeley lab scientists, you know, 2 years, 3 years ago, but now they're independent, right? Like roughly this story sounds okay, right? What do you think?
Yep, I think that's right. You know, we'd have to look at the specifics, but I think that type of arrangement it could be really useful, and it actually shows that, you know, DOE has invested in TerraFuse before. If you can keep working with them and use this program to grow that relationship, that might be viewed favorably by the program offices. So yeah, that's an interesting idea.
yeah, and then you just need to make sure that whatever the matching they're providing, we're not funded through the other federal programs.
Yeah, they can't use any federal money to fund
Yeah.
the work that they're going to do with us. That's the only catch.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have to be money, as we said. It can be time.
Right.
I see. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, if you want to talk more about it later, we'd be happy to catch up next week or something as well.
Yeah, I can send you emails, right?
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks.
Okay. So do we have any more questions?
Well, you know, Reshma had asked about the eligibility. I was wondering in the chat, I'm wondering, Reshma, if you have any specific questions about eligibility or have any concerns based on the criteria.
Yeah, she's still here?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, no,
Okay.
I just had one quick question about that is, if you don't have a technology partner already slated, is IPO able to assist in finding possibly some startups or mid-stage companies that might be interested in this technology if it's already patented?
So we definitely have limited bandwidth in terms of, you know, trying to get someone on board for you to submit. You do have a little bit of time, but a month is not enough. The initial proposal eligibility submission, in that document, you only need to name your cost match partner, and at the full proposal stage, you can change if you need to change. But definitely by the time you submit your full proposal, you need to have a commitment from an external partner. So I'm not quite sure if we would even have that kind of time to just cold calling someone and try to find someone to be interested in working with our scientists.
And there's one more question from a colleague who had to step off. So this is a partnership between a Berkeley lab scientist at ETA and a small startup company. It's for a solar monitor. And so the Berkeley lab scientist is kind of also co-founder of that startup. Does that change anything in terms of eligibility if the startup provides the cost share and becomes a manufacturing partner, even though the scientist is kind of got a COPA with that startup because they're co-founded there as well?
Yeah, it gets complicated, but there are situations where lab scientist founded companies have gotten like SBIR funding, for example, to work with the lab. I think it's a discussion we'd have to have at the conflict of interest committee. And how, in that situation, it makes it hard for the lab scientist to play a role on the project at the lab if they're also playing a role in the project at the company. So you have to manage what they're doing and how it's verified. But I would say it's not impossible to set that up, but it does take some discussions with the COI committee and the lab's legal team and the IP office.
And there has to be an ROI already filed on this, right, for it to be eligible for this round?
If you haven't filed a disclosure with IPO, I would make sure that you send in your submission as soon as possible so we can, evaluate and assess the invention and make sure that we make some sort of filing before you get the money from DOE, depending on which topic you're applying.
Okay. Again, I'm asking for a colleague. I don't know exact things, but maybe they can get in touch with you directly on that.
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Anshan. You'll be sending the slides out, right?
Yes, I can. Yeah.
Great. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Well, and Reshma, just you mentioned, you asked about helping develop a relationship with companies that might be interested. Since this program has been happening every year, it's never too early to start developing those relationships, and maybe there's not enough time to get something set up for this year. But if you have companies in mind, or you want some help in that element of biz dev, or you're looking for a collaborator, or I think both Shanshan and I'd be happy to talk to you about how to help with that, maybe over kind of a longer term period.
That'd be great. Maybe we could set up a time to talk or something, and whenever, should I just use the calendars and set up a half an hour or something?
Go for it.
Sure. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I'm going to drop off now, but thank you very much for your help.
See you.
Thank you for coming.
Bye.
Do we have any other questions? I'm gonna stop sharing. So Ruby, I guess I can give you a copy of the slides and we can post it on IPO website.
Yes.
Okay.
And this recording as well.
Okay. Okay, so if there are no more questions, maybe we can end this. Hi, Ernest.
Can everybody hear me? Yeah.
Yes.
I
Go
have
ahead.
I have one question. So I'm in this situation where I'm leaving the lab because I created my own business in order to commercialize it. Yeah. And but then and I would love to collaborate actually with the Berkeley labs and maybe using such funding channel. However, if now as a newly created business, it seems like I need to have at minimum 100K to collaborate here. Yeah. Any suggestions or something how I could get the 100K via other channels in order to establish such a relationship here?
And whose IP are you referring to in terms of commercializing? Is that yours or someone else's?
So no, the IP belongs to the Berkeley Labs, DOE, and I'm also working with Sebastian in
Okay.
yeah.
Yes. So if your company, which you've set up, you would be the company, I would assume, but you'd need to find someone at the lab,
Right,
to kind of work like you with your company.
right.
It needs to be a thing between the lab and yourself. Now, as I said before, it doesn't have to be money.
Yeah.
It can be time.
Okay. Okay.
But it's going to be a lot of time and just one of you, right? So
Okay.
I don't know if somebody's taken up your role once you leave. So I don't know where that's got to, Ernst.
Okay, no, but thanks for clarification. I missed that it's not only money. It's also can be, for example, some percentage of somebody's time that helps out here. Yeah, that's
Exactly.
It's maybe easier to find than 100K. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, just to be clear, Ernst, you still, even if you are contributing in kind from a company, the company needs to incur those costs and spend that money.
Right.
You don't have to send it to the lab, but you can't claim 100K in your own labor if you're not actually paying yourself 100K.
Right.
If you understand. So.
Yeah.
Right.
I believe you're just the only employee at your current company, Ernst.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But thanks a lot for clarification. I think it's pretty good to know that such funding channels exist, and hope to stay in touch with all of you in in order to use such channels to
yeah, I mean, so there are other funding mechanisms, vehicles that you can look into as well. I mean, there's the SBIR funding opportunities, DOE issues topics twice a year. And if there's anything that, that's relevant to the, the technology you're working with, then you can also, that funding actually would come to you as a company. TCF is basically, it's designed to fund the labs.
Right.
So the money will come to the labs, but it will not go to the company. The company would just be a partner in this process.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Thanks for clarification and
You're welcome. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, thank you.
Yan, you have some other question?
I just want to thank you, Shanshan. Thank you, Todd, and thank you, Sebastian, and everyone.
Yeah, of course.
You're welcome.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.
Okay.
Bye.
Thanks.
Thanks, Sebastian.
All right.
See you later.
All right. Bye.